Hey there guys, so in this one I'm just going to be going over like a top 6 kind of ranking, kind of just overall value, not just like a here's who is good, but kind of a why they're good, why I think they're good. So I kind of wanted to incorporate a couple different things into it, like obviously just how good is the champion, but also like the class identity of what this class is trying to bring when you bring them to a quest. And when I think of skill champions, I think of evade counter obviously, but ability accuracy reduction, damage over time, specifically bleeds, but they've been getting away from it being specifically bleeds with stuff like KINGPIN and Elsa, Black Widow, and shrugging off abilities is probably one of their main things, right? That was kind of one of their big things for a while. So here is the, I have to reload that, my bad. There it is. So that's kind of the list for the skills. It's nothing like too crazy, but so first obviously you have Nick Fury. Just an absolute monstrous champion of the skill class, just of the entire contest, honestly. He's up there as one of the best champions in the game. He has insane damage, he can shrug off, he can prevent evade, he can prevent miss, he can cheat death with his life decoys, he can tank a special 3 in a fight. You can go unblockable so you don't have to worry about parrying in certain fights. He's not great with suicides, or even the best at shrugging off like damaging debuffs, because you need the 10 charges, and to stay above 10 charges you kind of need your Furious Fury, so you'd have to be below 30% health. So he's not the best for that, but he's very good just at like everything in this game. Right, like you just throw him at a quest and you can kind of get stuff down even if he isn't supposed to, just because of how high his damage can be, or how that he can cheat death and come back to life. So Nick Fury's obviously like a top of the game. He's kind of the most versatile skill. You could argue that like Aegon or something is better at like 999 combo, or KINGPIN is better in a debuff heavy matchup. But Nick Fury you can just throw in most quests and just do work. Just bleed them down, hit them a lot, and you'll get the fight done pretty quick. So Nick Fury's kind of a given for me. He's just absolutely insane. Low sig required. Not the greatest prestige, but he brings a lot of value to any account that he joins, really, if we're being honest. So second, I already mentioned him, is Aegon. Of course, you kind of want him Sig 200, and most people kind of undervalue what he can bring outside of Abyss and Labyrinth. Act 6, Act 7, AWAQ, he can crush it all as long as you have one fight, basically, that you can ramp him up in. Because, right, like, you can, at Sig 200, you're carrying over 75% of a combo, so he carries over a lot. And then his utility that he can gain is just some of the highest amounts of utility in the game, because they just stack on top of each other, and it just goes nuts. His damage after 150, in my opinion, is where, like, his damage, like, spikes. It's like below that, you're like, okay, this is good. And then from there is where his crit damage really starts to go up. It's where he starts to crit a lot more often. At least that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of like what I noticed like the very first time I played him. I played him in an incursions run with someone, and it was like the first time ever using him, and I got to 150. I was like, yeah, this isn't going too great. He's only okay. I knew he was really good, but I was like, okay, his damage is fine. And then like 150 and over, the damage just starts to go crazy. He obviously has those massive furies if you get hit. He's not like the safest champion. His block, I think, might be a little bit on the low side. Where is it? Yeah, 65. It's not like the highest block in the game. Like, I guess Blade is fine for block proficiency testing, right? If we check Blades, he's also at 65. Okay, so it's actually not like a bad block proficiency, right? Nick Fury, I feel like, is someone who people think have a good block. 65 as well. Someone told me that they felt Aegon had a squishy block one time. No, Aegon's got a good block. What the heck? So Aegon, he's just pretty solid overall. Like, you need to ramp him up, but he can bring just a lot once he's there. This guy is a bit newer, right? Like last year, was it a year or a year and a half ago? Skill class was like second from bottom or something like that for like overall classes. But then like KINGPIN and Woman got buffed, and ever since then, skill's just been on the climb. Like, right, two of these, 3 of the top 6 that I have are buffs. 1 is new, and then in honorable mentions, they're both buffed champions. So skills had a lot of newcomers, if we're being completely honest. So KINGPIN's buff just makes him shrug off like a maniac. Every half second he can shrug off a debuff. If you bring Hood or Joe Fixit, you can shrug, which this synergy actually just got better because Joe Fixit's buff I believe is pretty good from like some of the gameplay I've seen. So you have that now. You just shrug off, you just gain tons of damage through rage, even without debuffs. He has great ways of gaining his rage. He's a very well thought out champion now. Like, he had kind of the base of this, but they just kind of polished it and made him much cleaner to play. So I really like it. All the stuff he can do with like his SP1, the Black ISO 8, the 50% attack and 65% defensive ability accuracy. You can tank special 3s with that. You shut off evades, you shut off damage back. You can just tank special 3s, tank hits, like, and then heal it all back up with willpower. Absolute monstrous champion. Next one, this guy is kind of just here out of pure not like simplicity. You need to think when you're playing him. He's basically skill Ghost Rider, right? You use your combo to gain judgment charges, but instead you're using that to gain chi charges, which do your damage, and your wushu strikes are your judgments, and then you just heavy to reset instead of having to like trigger all of them. So he's even better than Ghost Rider in that sense that all you have to do is just land a 5-hit combo and it stuns them, and then you just heavy. It's really simple, really clean gameplay, and the fact that all of his utility is just on your 5 hits makes him very easy to control, very fun to play with. You can get up your purifies, you can get up slows very easily, you can stun them, you can break their block. Like, he has everything that you kind of want from a skill champion. I guess he doesn't have ability accuracy reduction, but he has slow, which is pretty similar. So and then his SP2 obviously just dumps damage. SP3 for a long fight. Yes, sorry about that if this is a weird audio cut here. But yeah, so Shang-Chi, just simplicity, right? You just hit them and that's your utility. Very easy to maintain. Next is going to be Mole Man. So another just very simple champion. Keep yourself below 10 of your monster mass, go into frenzy, crit, bleed, never get evaded. Simple, simple, simple champion. You can, like, I guess get complicated with like which special attack is better or something, but as long as you keep yourself below 10 monster mass, you never get evaded. If you go into frenzy, you always crit, you always bleed. Super simple champion, lots of damage, lots of burst. He was definitely a bit more popular at the start of his buff. KINGPIN kind of overtook him, if you couldn't tell. But he's still a very, very good champion. He has Unstoppable as well. Oh yeah, KINGPIN also has Unstoppable for stuff like Can't Stop, Won't Stop. But you can, with Mole Man, you can use his Unstoppable on block to cheat Intercept for stuff like Foresight, so that's always really nice. Again, just a very simple champion. The next one's also very simple. FALCON. As you guys know, I do really enjoy FALCON. These next ones I want to talk about have 6 stars, so I'm just going to go there. FALCON is obviously a champ I enjoy. I rank 3'd him, right? Again, simple. Dash back, hold block, and double your attack, and minus 100% ability accuracy. Specifically for defense, so that is important to keep track of. You have to make sure you're not trying to push him to do something he can't do to stop like offensive ability accuracy or passive ability accuracy. But as long as you know what FALCON can do and you bring him for that, he's super good, super solid. It's a very simple utility. He has 2 things, literally, bleeds and AAR. But the ability accuracy reduction is so potent, and his damage got buffed with that, so he's super good. So next on the list, if you noticed, I put like a Spider-Man I put a black champion there. They're just kind of like a border to separate for like honorable mentions for this. So those were the 2 I really wanted to bring up, which is Thor. Right now, I don't think any content is designed where he can shine. If they open up the health pools, I think he can. He has a lot of ability accuracy reduction, damage over time, burst damage after his SP3, but most of the fights, you just don't want to be spending 40 hits until your damage is good. And then you still have to do another like 30 hits. So it's kind of silly to use him a lot of the time. The next one is HAWKEYE. I haven't played him too much yet, but I have a friend who's really considering that HAWKEYE could be easily top 5. His damage and some of his utilities seems actually very solid now, so that's really nice for HAWKEYE, you know, getting an Avenger actually a buff, which is kind of cool. He seems like he's very solid. Now, I was trying, this is something I meant to put at the start. I'm sorry, this is like the 4th time I've recorded this. I had audio issues the past couple times. I'm really sorry about that. I was trying to get this out like 2 days ago. So I was trying to not put too much personal bias in the list. Obviously there are some. You can't take your own personal opinions out of this. So do take it with that this is still an opinion. This isn't like from Kabam, these are like the best champions to use in the game. I'm sure they could tell you what like statistically the best and safest and highest damage output champions are, but that's not what this is. Hitmonkey is a champion that I very much like. I put Sigs into him because he has prestige, he has a lot of burst damage with his crits, he's just fun. Same with Black Widow Deadly Origin, but they're not necessarily like top 6, top 7 type of champions, but they have a lot of damage and they're fun. Skill, as I've said, has gotten a lot of buffs recently, and there's even some champions that haven't that people still really enjoy, like Elsa and Killmonger. All these champions are very, very usable and very good to play with. So kind of like pick out why you want to use that champion, right? Like they all have some similar things that they can do, but who does it in the way that you like is kind of what I like to look for. And like some of these are just the champions that I like, and I think they're all also very good overall champions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this list video. I don't know, I'm going to try to get out a couple more of these. Maybe I can get out one more tonight. We'll see if I'm lucky like that. I hope you guys have a good one. See you guys soon.